All right, welcome everybody. It's Doug here with thelincolnlist.com. I want to welcome you to another edition of Happy Hour with the Lincoln for October 28th of 2016. We are now down to just one trading day left for the month of October. Already over $20,000 in gains. And that marks that 9 of the 10 months this year have been over $20,000 in gains. The account's now over $210,000 for the year, and that's on a $100,000 trading balance. And that's just day trading. The Lincoln Million account on Friday went over 45% for the year. So it's been a good year. And in spite of all of that, it's been an interesting year too. I know it's not over with yet, but October's probably going to go down as just a strange month. I mean, the ranges have been low. You've had to wait a little longer for your opportunity, twice as long to find your setups. You've had to be twice as patient with them because you've gone from a religious buying the dip bullish market to a market that now has been in gridlock or held hostage over this upcoming election. And I can understand that, and I get that part because no matter, this is not a political rant, so no matter what side you are on, who you're voting for, who you support, let's just face it, I think I speak for everybody when I say this is not one of our finest moments as American people. You know, we're going to go down, after this is all over, thank God in just 10 days, that we're all going to really look back and be, if we're not already, kind of embarrassed about putting ourselves in a situation like this. And again, you seem to have a clue about what was going to happen here on Friday. If you were trading, the FBI reopens the investigation on Hillary emails, and the market goes berserk. The biotech start running, and then the market starts crashing. So it's obvious that this election is going to impact the market. And right now, it seems as just about everybody is sitting on their hands. That doesn't mean that you cannot make money. As I said, over 20,000 in gains. It's turning out to be one of the better months. It's just about the way that you approach it. And if you're trading for the very first time, this is like your first year, I gotta give you credit because you've seen it all. Like in the beginning of the year, you had just a bearish sell-off that lasted all the way to February, followed by this monster rally that takes us to highs. Then we're all about Brexit. The Brexit vote doesn't go through. You get a flash crash. 2 days later, the market starts ripping, goes back, makes new highs. And then now we're going through an election cycle and nobody wants to make any kind of financial decision. So you've seen, a bear market, a bullish market, a sideways market, a flash crash, and an election. So congrats to you. The point in all of that is this is what makes the market so challenging. You have a strategy, and this is something, it's not the first time I've discussed it, but you have a strategy. You have a way of doing things. And just because something doesn't work doesn't mean you just throw your strategy out and start doing something else. No, the way you stay successful is by being patient, is by saying, okay, my strategy is good today. Let me maximize that. My strategy is not so good. Let me sit on my hands. As I said before, sometimes cash, not sometimes, but cash is a position too. Sometimes the best trade is not to be in a trade. So my point with this early portion of the rant is if you intend on progressing as a trader and making this a career, you are just getting started. You will see all kinds of crazy stuff going on in the market. And it will be that way. There will always be a crisis. There will always be some hype. There will always be some garbage that you're going to news stuff, filter you got to go through. You have to take each day and each trade one step at a time. That's the only way that you make it. You got to block out the noise, just grind away at it. That's how you get rich at trading. You're not going to knock out a home run. You are going to do this day by day, inch by inch, trade by trade, and gnaw for every square penny that you get until you make millions. That's just how it's done. So take that for whatever it's worth. Enough of the rant. Let's get down to our special guest, which is, my fave, if you watched any, my good buddy, Ardbeg. Now, don't laugh at my little baby mini-me Ardbeg can. It's not a can, it's a glass. I have to tell you the story, of course. I like Ardbeg if you watched any of these, and the reason I love it so much is because Ardbeg was the first Scotch I was ever introduced to. And we're really partial to our firsts, right? Our first love, our first kiss, our first Scotch, our first big winning trade. We always have a place in our heart for our firsts. And the reason that we do is because our firsts, let's see how this relates to in trading. Like, your firsts allow you to believe. It instills belief in you that you belong. You are a part of whatever that first is. Like your first love, you realize that, you're not a total reject. People do love your sorry ass. Someone is out there for you. You have a love. Somebody's interested. Like your first winning trade lets you know that I can do this. I found this trade. I did everything right with this trade. My first real winner. I can be a trader if I want to be a trader. That's why our firsts are so special to us and hold those moments. Now, that also works on the flip side. Hold on. We must take a little bit of this Ardbeg. Now, that works out to the flip side where you can say we also have firsts that are bad, such as, usually after your first love comes your first heartbreak. And after your first big win, sometimes comes your first big loss. But those are good firsts too, because what they do is they take you to that next level as a person. So like when you get your heart broken over your first love, you rebound with another love. And that shows that you have character, that you can come back. Same way when you take that first loss, that first big loss, you rebound by having probably, usually when I have my biggest losses, followed by some of my greatest traits, followed by some of my best traits. And that shows your character as a human being, that you are able to come back. So your life is always full of firsts. And each first that you have is a moment in time that builds your character, toughens you up, and makes you into the person that you are, that gives you that character, that makes you, like I said, makes you who you are and what you're here for. So your life is full of firsts, and my first was Ardbeg. We kind of went around the wagon there with that story, but that's my first. Now, the story here with this Ardbeg, not only being my first, is I've had this one. I got this little bottle when I was at the distillery. Of course, when I get to the Isle of Islay, the first Scotch distillery I ever visited in my life would be what? Ardbeg. I drove straight to Ardbeg the moment I got off of the boat there. Went straight to Ardbeg. And I always got Ardbeg in the cabinet, but I'm now out of it. So I thought I would break this open. This is what I bought. It came with this cute little glass. It says Ardbeg. I don't know if you can see it on there. But anyway, you're probably saying, is this your only thing that you got when you visited the Isle of Islay? Yes, I went to all of the distilleries. I tried all of the whiskey, but I did not buy a legit sized bottle of whiskey, not even for a souvenir. And I'll tell you why. Because I go in there and it's like I told you before, the whiskey's free. You can just drink whatever whiskey, but they sell it, of course. It's more expensive at the distillery. It's the only place I've ever seen it. It's more expensive at the distillery than it is at the liquor store. It's amazing. It's like, geez, I can get it cheaper in America. Cheap bastard. I'm not buying any of this. So I have to have a souvenir. And this is what I get. It was like a little cute little kit. It was like $10, like big spender, right? Like, oh, you come all this way for Scotch and you spend $10 on this baby container. So anyway, that was the story here behind this Ardbeg. And I finished off my last bottle. So we're going to do this one here. And of course, every time I drink Ardbeg, you see me with other glasses, but only Ardbeg goes into the Ardbeg glass. Dumb, yes, of course, but that's just how it is. So congrats to you on Ardbeg. Now, as far as the taste, this is just intense all the way around. That's why I like it. It's full smoke. It's strong smoke, but it's good. It's smooth. It's strong liquor. You can taste the liquor. It burns a little more than the others. They had when I visited the distillery, they had one of their other batches that came out was called Supernova. That's what I was drinking gasoline. It was hardcore strong. But Ardbeg, like the first time you're going to drink this over some other whiskeys, you're going to feel this. You're going to feel it burn. Like it burns going right down the esophagus. Like it's good on a cold day. Like if it's cold outside, just drink some. It goes down nice and warm, gives you all that fuzzy, furry feeling inside. It's a smooth whiskey though. Even after it burns a little bit, you get through the first couple of sips. It's really good, but it's intense. It's got an intense alcohol hit to it. It's got an intense smoky flavor to it, but yet smooth on top of that, if that makes sense. So Ardbeg, my first, true love, will always have a place in my heart. And remember, your firsts always have a place in your heart. That's what builds your character and makes you a man or a woman and prepares you for this great life that you live. So enough of that. Let's talk about stocks. Let's just get right down to it. I have to say, like I said, I'm going to just keep saying it over and over again. The SPY itself here, the market, just is not the same market as we've seen. And my thoughts, of course, is we're being held hostage until this election. It's just the way it's going to be. And you're going to have to pick and choose your opportunities wisely from here on out. You know, you're just going to have to be patient. That's the only way that you're going to make the good money. As far as individual let me just kind of say this. There can always be something that happens. You can always have something that happens here. If you're looking on a technical basis, just so you have some technical numbers in your head, you've got this pivot low on October 13th. At 211, down around to 211.22. So let's just say 211 even. If you get underneath a 211 pre-election, hey, you might get a sell-off. A lot of people might want to be in cash, so there's a good chance the market sells right off before the election. We're getting pretty close. So look for that number. I'm not expecting any rallies. I mean, if you do rally and you want to talk about a sustained rally or a turn in sentiment, you'd have to look at 215. 215 is where you'd need to be. A close and above 215, that's where you would need to be to see some extended bullish strength. Now these, even though the market is roughed up, some of these stocks are still going and providing some really dynamite opportunities. And of course, if you're following me at all on social media, one of my favorites is QE. I just got a feeling QE is going to go the way of ACIA and TWLO, where it's just done. I mean, if you look at the chart technically, on the 24th of October, this thing had broken the 50 moving average on heavy volume of selling, and it was just broken. It actually had broken before that when it crossed over the 20 moving average, but on a technical basis, it broke, and it broke good support too. Then all of a sudden, of course, you know, PR comes out, it's a news event, and the thing spikes, and it just goes ridiculous. It goes to 25% or something on a day, so it literally reverses from $70 up to 98. So, you know, that happens sometimes, but the key here is if you look at the chart now, after the big rip, it hasn't been able to do anything since. It's just been selling off, and now all of those people who chase that price are questioning themselves, and they're selling now at a loss. They're underwater. So you're seeing, like Friday, you saw really thick selling, regardless of market spikes, whatever happened, this thing still goes down. And I have a position in this for the swing program, but still from a day trading thing, I think you're going to see this thing before the week's end somewhere down in the mid 70s. Maybe I'm wrong on this, but I think this thing's going to go down there. You got to look for earnings. Those coming up on the 2nd. That could be an issue, but I expect this thing to continue selling off. I like even after earnings, I think you have a trade. Now, GMO here was a hot stock on Friday, and as I said, the earnings players have been a little bit stubborn. Like they've been very trendy. So this one goes up a lot. You get a little bit of a pullback midday, but then it closes on strength. I only like this if it's going to do a second day. I only want to do second day shorts on not on earnings winners, but I just want to do second day shorts on. I already shorted it on Friday. And it turned out to be an okay game, but it wasn't that spectacular. So I don't want to just go into it on a breakdown. I want to short vertical moves and paras. So unless it goes back up over highs 57, 58, or squeezes heavily on Monday, then that's the short I'm looking for. If it breaks down from here under 55 to 54, I'm not even going to mess with it. That might be your trade, but that's not the trade that I'm looking for. But I do like GMO the way it's been. Now this is a good chart here. I like SAIA. This is an earnings winner that's now on its 3rd day. Like you look at this daily chart here. This thing gaps up from 29, and now you're sitting at 35. Now that's not a lot. Like when you're looking at like a QE, QE can make that movement just in the morning alone. But this is big movement for this stock, and you're on 3 strong days. You got a really big RSI on the daily chart. I want to short this one, and as all of these, you look at the close on Friday, it was extremely bullish. With all of these that I mentioned, I want to short them off of morning strength. I only want to short stuff that's vertical in the morning. And the reason for that is because that's where your emotional buyers are with your trades. So when you're taking advantage, unfortunately, the market's a zero-sum game. In every battle that you win, somebody else lost. That's how you make money. And it's a sad fact of the game, but that's it. If you want to participate, you have to make peace with that. So the emotional rookies, noobs, or people that chase, that's where you find them, making these rash decisions in the morning. And these stocks get vertical, and they make for great shorts. That doesn't mean they continue staying down, or they spend their whole day selling off, or they crash. But there is great pricing that you can take advantage of and pocket a good 50 to 60 cents. And a good example of that is Val. this Valspar, which was a big trade for us, was just a quick $2 winner out of nowhere. This is why we sit around and look at the computer all day and wait when I'm talking about picking your opportunities. You never know when it's going to come by, but they had some news come out that they were not going to be bought out, and I think it was an overreaction. Thing dumps to 98, we pick it up at 98, and you get a good spike back up to $100. Just all these people selling is just selling in panic, just selling by emotion. And that's how you make money, or how real pros make money, is they make money by taking advantage of people that are emotional. Just like the Brexit caused a lot of people to stop out of their positions. The real money makers made money off of the rebound, taking advantage of that. So unfortunately, that's how you make money as a trader. But anyway, those are just a couple of stocks that I'm looking at. As I mentioned, we're now over $200,000 in gains for the year. One of the reasons I bring this up all the time is a lot of traders think you're in this for home runs, and that's just not how it is. Like I mentioned at the beginning, this is a grind. You know, trading itself is a journey, and you're going to have to embrace all of it. And out of the 200+ thousand that I've made this year, I have not had one single trade that's gone for more than $2,000. So that's all just a ton of little wins. And now that I'm going on my 16 years as a trader, I've probably made 13,000 trades. And all of those played a part to where I'm at right now. You know, each and every one of those trades made me who I am today. Some have been good, some have been bad. But that's what trading is all about. You won't be defined by one single trade. You will be defined by this whole body of work, by all of this stuff that you do, by, like I said at the beginning, by getting up every day, doing the homework, trading it one step at a time, grinding it out. I mean, I want people to understand that, because you can easily be fooled into thinking that somebody has a secret system out there where they're like, look, you just do this and you're rich. Now, I'll tell you what you do to be rich. You work your ass off. That's how you get rich. You deal with it. You're going to have big losers. You're going to have big winners. You're going to have emotional moments where things go up and down, and all of this stuff happens. You're going to have to embrace that, deal with it, grind it out. You know, the old-fashioned way. Just roll up your sleeves and go at it every day. That's just how I've been doing it at the Lincoln List. That's how I've been doing it ever since I've been successful at this. Is just one trade at a time, one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, and that's it. And hopefully you will get to some point where that pays off for you big time. So anyway, I've done enough. I'm going to finish my little Ardbeg, but I'm going to do this one nice and slow. I hope you have a good month. If you need some help, visit thelincolnlist.com. Take a free trial. It's a 7-day free trial to our live trade room. It doesn't cost you anything to join, but just take a look. Trade with us for a few days, see if you like it or not. Other than that, have a good day.